And a very pleasant good evening. Welcome into the All the Ball Sports Show. We don't have an intro for what reason, I don't know. So it's just a technical faux pas for some reason. So welcome into the show. Brought to you by True Love's Pizza and Grits, 1144 Riverside Drive, 388-7770. For a guy who just got back from Las Vegas, you're looking pretty dapper today, Dan LaFond.
Let me tell you what.
Did you win big?
I'll tell you what. The secret is you go back to work the next day.
Hang on just a second. The intro is now playing.
Oh,
so we're going to play.
Good evening, sports fans, and welcome to the All Balls Sports Show. Brought to you in part by True Love's Pizza and Grits at 1144 Riverside Drive. A discussion of any and all sports, local, regional, and national. And now, here are your hosts, Dan James, Eddie Bobo, Ty Cobb, and the coach, Vance Ballou.
Music, now, Dan LaFond, you were saying about Las Vegas.
The secret to looking so refreshed.
Yes.
You go back to work the next day, and you take the next day off. So so we've got a little girl at home, 3 months old, newest edition,
and how's she doing?
Well, good. She had just a runny nose and was just not feeling good. So I was like, I'm gonna stay home because my wife had the kids all weekend, and so I was like, you know what, I'm gonna help you out today, but also take a day for me because we just didn't stop. We did not stop from Thursday to Saturday night at 12:30 when we got in, and it was phenomenal. Great trip. Yep. I suppose you just want me to just launch into it, like launch into talking about it, because I have so much to say.
You've got so much to cover and so much, because that had to be an experience like no other out there. Seeing some actual, real, honest-to-God rugby players. From
the girls playing in their matches to the professional matches, just an experience that is going to be, especially for these seniors, going away. It was our first time playing sevens as a high school this year, back in the fall. And then they have always wanted our girls to come on these trips. They've recognized their talent, and Coach Boone from Rainbow, he's like, you got to get your girls to Vegas. And I'm like, we're not ready yet. And this year was the year. So
it's like, you got to get your girls to Vegas.
Seriously, exactly, so, especially for these seniors that we took,
they've offer you can't refuse.
For these seniors that we took, they're so talented, and they got experience, and it was cool to see. We traveled on Wednesday the 28th, and it was the first time in an aircraft. So, it was almost like Dad taking the kids and just kind of explaining to these girls, like, you can't raise your voice, and you can't, make jokes about anything in the airport and the aircraft, and it was just interesting to, see these girls kind of, taking off for the first time and landing into the white knuckled, like, we actually doing this.
I've seen someone do that.
Yeah, yep. And so, but we got to Vegas obviously just fine, and we stayed at the Westgate Resort, which is just off the Strip. If you know anything about Vegas.
Oh no, Dan, I don't know anything about Vegas. Please explain.
So it was the second time I've been to Vegas, and I've done the traditional Vegas, stuff. So this is more of like a family Vegas, and I really actually enjoyed it a lot more because it was fun for the kids to have them go and see. So we got there on Wednesday, and then Thursday we went right into playing the games. So two of our girls, Adriana Duncan and Serena White, two of our absolute studs. Adriana's the big fast one, Serena's the big tough one. They played in the elite division, and there were only 8 teams in the women's elite division, and there are girls, Coach Blue's size, and, just insanely strong, insanely fast, and just raw athleticism. We played this team out of Utah called the Cannibals, and the name was so, name was so fitting, and they just had, and it wasn't all big monstrous girls, but these teams, they play together, they're state or local teams, and this is what they do. And so for Adriana and Serena to go over there and play in this elite division, the Tennessee elite team, or the USA South elite, which was 12 girls from Tennessee, Georgia, North Carolina, South Carolina, one from New York who actually plays linebacker for her football team, for the boys football team there, and one from Missouri, who's another really great player. So for all these girls to come together, 54 girls try out, and for Adriana and Serena to come and make that team. And then, Adriana scored several times. Serena had some amazing plays.
Really?
Yeah. They were competing 100%. And in fact, the only reason that the USA South Elite didn't win any games is quite simply they didn't have any cohesiveness. They've got very little time to prepare. We're talking 5 states trying to get people to practice. And so it's difficult in that regard. But they went up there and they competed. And it was phenomenal to watch, but also just kind of eye-opening to see these are future college and professional players. All these girls coming together. The other 4 girls, Faith Edwards, Berniah Southall, Tatiana Harlan, those are all seniors, and then LaDeja Moss, who's a junior. They played for the Tennessee Tri-Stars, which was the open division, which was a lower than the elite division. And actually, I was the head coach of that team. And so it was really cool because our 4 girls had a lot of experience, and they were playing with a few girls from Ravenwood, a few girls from Memphis, and a few girls from Spring Hill, actually. So Natalie Garrett and Priscilla Rios from Spring Hill, they came over. And even though they're only second-year players, they have a lot of skill and a lot of potential. So the Tennessee Tri-Stars played in the open division. There were 16 teams in the open division. And I was trying to keep track, like who's coming from where, right? Definitely some domestic teams, Arizona, Utah, California, each had a couple teams. There were 3 teams from Canada, British Columbia, Vancouver, and Edmonton, Canada came. We beat all the Canadian teams, actually, which I was kind of surprised because rugby is huge in Canada. And we played teams, Arizona, like I said. And it was just cool. It was cool to see all these regions coming together and competing with each other, and girls that they would never, ever meet in any other capacity. So the Tennessee Tri-Stars, the first day, we lost all of our games, right? We're like, man, like, wow, we just got, and again, just that cohesiveness.
We just got
Yeah,
smoked.
but that second day, something just clicked for them. And we won all of our games. And then we played in the B Division Championship and then lost to a team from Glendale, Arizona. So, again, to go there, to be successful, to see some wins, but really importantly, not to have any injuries. That was the big win takeaway. But it was beautiful. It's out in the desert. It's actually in Henderson, Nevada, which is about 20 miles southwest of Las Vegas. But big flat area surrounded by mountains, and just kind of surreal to be out there with those girls. It was extremely windy almost the entire time. And so that was, of course, a factor with passing. But the girls went out there. They played really well once they got their traction with the girls from the other teams in the other parts of Tennessee. And we were also there with the boys teams. So there were 3 high school boys teams and a middle school boys team. So it's just a ton of Tennessee kids all together, wearing UT gear and, represent all that SEC stuff. And out here with all these people from Vegas. And there were boys teams from, France and overseas in Europe. And it was just really cool to see all these rugby players all together. And a few of our girls, back to Adriana and Serena, they were approached by a few universities.
Really?
And kind of ones that were already on our radar as far as being big rugby schools. But no surprises there. I got an email from a coach yesterday asking me about Adriana, if she had committed yet. So, and right now Adriana's kind of thinking about where she wants to go and spend her time. So Lindenwood University, who right now is the big deal in women's rugby, they won the championship in both 7s and 15s last year. They've got their eye on Adriana. So that's pretty cool. Super complimentary of her, of course, to get that. And it's awesome to watch these girls go from freshmen to seniors and be recruited to play college.
Well, that's all fine and dandy, but the big question is this. How much did you lose on the slots?
So I got to tell you, I got to be perfectly honest with you. I'm not a slots guy. I'm more of a blackjack guy.
Oh,
okay?
I was going to get to that too.
Yep. More of a blackjack guy.
How about Keno?
Yeah, right. Yeah, right. Pull out the card. I didn't have a single second to do anything.
Really?
That was remotely adult. Yep. We would get up at 6 a.m. We would eat breakfast with the team, have a little team meeting. We'd be at the fields by 8, playing by 9. We play 9 to 1 p.m. every day. Go back to the hotel rooms, shower up, change, go to the professional matches. And we go to the professional matches till 6, 7 o'clock. And then, of course, we had to show the girls all of Vegas, right? So we went to, Fremont Street, which is, old Las Vegas. Mm-hmm. And, the last night we were there, Saturday night, we showed them, downtown Las Vegas, Bellagio and MGM Grand, and just all the touristy stuff. And we never stopped. And I tell everybody, we were there for 4 full days. And in those 4 full days, we were probably in our hotel room for 2 hours. Collectively.
Wow.
And I got home Sunday and I was just just completely drained. So never had a chance to hit up the gaming floors, but honestly I didn't miss it because watching these girls play and travel and be a part of this experience that they never would have done otherwise. But just think,
man, if you'd have dropped $1 in a slot.
And you could have gotten it, right?
And you could have got it.
Funded
you
the
could have
program.
funded the program from now on.
Yeah.
How great would that be?
Right.
Well, after taxes.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah, they're going to get that up front.
Yeah. Unless, could I submit a 501(c)(3) for my Who's going to the school? Yeah.
That's right.
So, yeah.
Exactly.
But it was cool. A few parents went. They really enjoyed enjoyed it. Really enjoyed the time. My parents joined because my mom and dad, they look at these girls like their own daughters, and they were there and supportive and helping out and traveling.
I know we saw the pictures on Facebook. That was pretty cool.
Yeah,
you didn't even really have time to post any of that. I mean, you were so busy.
Well, I only posted this. So my birthday was Wednesday the 28th, and so I mean I haven't even looked through it. I took a bunch of video and I'll put a video together and so really we're still so fresh in our minds. But every single girl at some point said to me on the way home like, "This was amazing. This was so much fun."
What was it like for them to watch the professionals do it?
I want to talk about how I felt watching the professionals. Oh my gosh! Like, so we walk into this Sam Boyd Stadium outside of Las Vegas, and we walk into this stadium, and there they are, and it's open, it's really cool because rugby is still like the up and coming sport, so like it's open seating. It's like we're all jammed against the front rows, and there they are playing the game, and man, it's just so much faster. They're so fast and they're so perfect at passing, and their tiny errors are like beautiful passes to us, and seeing the U.S. play, and they actually won the whole thing. On Sunday, the United States beat Fiji and Argentina, which are the two big names right now in sevens rugby. They beat those teams, and we watched them beat Argentina on the first day, I believe it was, and it was really cool because to watch the U.S., who's has not been a rugby nation, we're starting to like gain some traction. And sevens is how, as the head coach for the USA Sevens team says, he says that rugby is like the gateway, sevens rugby is like the gateway for the United States, like get into this game, because it's hard, just like professional soccer, having advertisers and commercials. You can't do it on 30-minute halves, but sevens games are 2 7-minute halves, so you can do a bunch of games in a time slot. Wow. But anyway, so it was for the girls, for them. It was funny because I'd be watching the game, but I would also be watching them, and they were just like, wow, look at these guys, look how fast this is, and to see these big professional players, it was just it was awe-inspiring.
Did they tell you they picked up some tips by watching those guys?
We haven't fully, because I've filmed all the games, right? Yep. And we watch professional rugby, and we watch a lot of college women's rugby because professional rugby is such a far cry from where we are on the high school level. Mm-hmm. So we watch college women's rugby because it's a little slower and a little more on our level, on our pace. But I think what I wanted them to really take away from that was, here are these athletes at the top of their game, arguably the most in-shape athlete in professional sports. And you watch them pace themselves. They're not going 1,000 miles an hour all the time. They're taking their time. And when it comes time for bursts and when it comes time to make a play, you see them kick it on, and you see the speed and explosiveness. And that's something our girls really need to learn, because all our girls know is 100 miles an hour, run forward. Yeah. And it's not as my broken record self this season. This season's all about, for us to get better and for us to go play in a state championship, we got to get tactical. We have to play rugby like professionals do, which means slowing down the game. You'd think it'd be the opposite. But our girls just want to smash forward. And you know what? They have the power to do that. But when you go east and west, these big teams from McMahon to Memphis, you can't do that, because you're going to run into a team just as physical as you, and you will weigh yourself down. So the girls definitely got to see the game played by the fastest people who play it at a slower pace. And when it came time to turn it on, boy, they turned it on. So
Eddie and I got a chance to see something during the Jamboree that we haven't seen.
Okay.
52 to 54 girls that you have on your squad.
54.
And the biggest problem that you have is playing all of them.
Yes. It's a good problem to have. We're football. We have officially become the football team. And I mean that in a lot of different ways, but one of the ways that Coach Ballou can definitely speak to is you're starting to pick up people who just want to be a part of it. And that's very complimentary, but it's also, frankly, dead weight.
No,
because
I'm perfectly happy sitting where I am.
Yeah. So you start getting these girls who they see who
We're
we
dead
are.
weight.
They want to wear the jersey. They want the experience, and it's so many. Now we are fortunate because every single one of our varsity matches will have a JV match following it.
Right.
And again, I don't have it in me yet to cut somebody, because you don't want to tell a freshman or sophomore you can never play this game. I've been there in the conversations with football players, with football coaches, where they tell a kid, you'll never be a quarterback. I coach freshman football. One of the varsity coaches when I was there said, that kid wouldn't play quarterback. And I'm like, how are you going to tell a 14-year-old kid that he can never play quarterback? Like, he's just, he's so young. And we all know that some kids just have it, and some kids need work. And so I'm not there yet. I'm not there where I can really cut a kid. But man, if we get it's getting to the point where we got to take 2 buses. And we'll fit onto 1 bus this year, but if we start spilling over 60, I might have to, out of logistical problems, have to cut some people back. So it's the kind of sport where I'm noticing a lot of first-year players. You know, if we have like 20 first-year players, about 10 or 11 come back. That's perfect because that means that 9 have figured out, wow, this is not the sport for me. Not what I thought it was going to be, whether it's physical fitness or the physicality of it, you know, the full contact. So it's a great problem to have. I love having so many girls. You know, when we walk up into stadiums and fields together, and the presence is felt. You know, we all got our matching suits on. We're all straight-faced and ready to go and in 2 lines. And, you know, they talk to the girls from the other teams, and they all talk about how intimidating they are when we walk into a stadium. So it is cool to have
when
the
I
numbers.
introduced you guys the other night, it's pretty impressive to see you coming across the field, and these other teams are going like, wow.
Right.
That's a lot of girls.
Yeah.
You know.
Well, correct me if I'm wrong, but in the Jamboree, you only played the varsity players just a few minutes in each 25-minute game.
Yep, and so for those...
And then you played your JV the bulk of both games.
And then I told them that going into it, and I told the... Go ahead, I'm sorry.
Well, that's fine. I mean, you know, it's just... And the JV held their own against number ones on the other squad.
Yeah.
So, you know.
And I tell the girls, you know, we've become a great team, you know. We've become a good team. I'll say we're great when we get to that state championship, when we do new things. And I tell the girls,
are you going to be one of those coaches to say, I'll tell you you're great when you are?
Well, I have all of
okay,
our,
Nick Saban.
Behind my desk are all of our little awards, right? So we've got 2 conference championship awards. We have a first place finish in 7s at a tournament in Knoxville, which was cool. And we have a state runner-up trophy for 7s from last year. And so the girls, we all have meetings before each practice, and there are those trophies, you know. And I say, ladies, those are phenomenal, and they are in the past. And what those are is they're going to collect dust. I was like, we want to do more things. We can never be satisfied until we do new things, and that is winning a regional championship and then playing at state and then winning state. And, of course, you know, once we win state, it's going to be, now, I know we got the state championship, but I want another one. And so if any kid kind of gets it, they're like, okay, so basically never be satisfied is the moral of the story here.
Well,
so,
you know, I'm a firm believer. If you become satisfied, then you're going to start becoming mediocre.
Yeah, and you're going to start getting past.
Right.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And so for our varsity girls, they're so used to winning. And that's the most dangerous thing for a team, to think you're good, think you've got it figured out, because these big teams from the East and West, they're going to smack you in the mouth, and they're going to give you the physicality that you've been giving to everybody. You know, we found that out in 7s. We have never played Memphis teams. Oh my goodness, there's Columbia Central over there in Memphis, a couple of them, right? So now we're talking about playing with skill and playing intelligently. And I told my varsity this year, because how it was last year, we just blew through everybody. And luckily, Ravenwood beat us in the regular season, and I was truly in here thankful, because it really brought us back down to the ground level. And I told my girls this year, it's going to be the same situation. Ravenwood, Warren County, Spring Hill, these are all teams that are building again. You know, Ravenwood's very young. They've been our best competition, but they're still very young. They've just got a few seniors that graduated 10 last year. And I told the varsity players, I'm not going to keep you out there and let you keep scoring 40 and 50 and 60 points. There's no class in that. There's no honor in that kind of win. So here's my deal to these, because they're all worried, right? I mean, they want to play. Of course they want to play. But I said, my deal to you is this. I'm going to let you play the whole first half, and I'm not going to take you out, but you got to slow down, and you got to play tactical rugby. You either get to play the whole first half, or you score 25 points. Now, I know right now, all 15 starters, 15 on the field, I was like, all 15 of you have the physical ability and the skill to run right through these girls. You go and score 25 points in 5 minutes, like we did last year against Warren County.
Yeah.
5 minutes in, we're up 20-0. And I'm like, and I'm frustrated because I want a competition, because I want to make these girls better, and running over people is not going to do it. So I was like, you all have the ability to go win this game in the first 10 minutes, but you'll be off the field. So how about you slow it down? How about you learn how to play this game like professionals and college athletes play it, and you'll also get to play more, and you will become better at the game. So that's the challenge this year. I hope that you all see a more controlled, disciplined offense from us, and especially in our forwards, our big players. They have to pace themselves, run the ball forward, get tackled, create what's called the ruck, win that ruck, pass it to the next set of forwards, and they go forward and forward and forward.
Explain something to us.
Sure.
Because Eddie and I both have the same question.
Okay.
First question.
Yep.
Once you make a try,
Yep.
and that try is complete and the ball is put down, why do you kick to the other team after that instead of
why do they kick?
Why they kick back to you?
Right.
What's the reasoning for that?
So Same question I had. I was like, this is goofy. We just scored. Why should we get the ball back?
Exactly.
That doesn't
Right.
make any sense.
Exactly.
In rugby, what's most important is field position. So it's actually to the team's advantage to kick that ball as far down the field as possible because you are gaining field. And any number of things can happen. If they, for example, if the ball hits them waist up and bounces forward, well, it's a scrum, and they could lose the ball. If it goes out of bounds, it's a line out. They could lose the ball. So it's in the defending team's advantage to get as far down the field as possible to pin that team in their own try zone. Because if you think about it, if the team scores and then kicks off, they get that same advantage. And in fact, a lot of professional and college rugby teams, their kicking game is a huge part of their offense. They're kicking it to the other team, and they're trying to outrun them or get a good bounce, etc. So a great question. I always wondered that. In fact, in sevens, it is like that.
Okay.
When you score, you do kick, because in sevens, it's not about pinning them. It's about kicking it high and trying to catch your own kickoff.
Okay,
Very
question number 2.
Yep.
We make a try.
Yep.
We put the ball down. Sometimes we make a conversion kick try. Sometimes we don't.
Right.
Why?
Wherever the ball is scored, you know,
angle.
on,
Right.
on the linear, right, the ball comes straight out.
Right.
Okay. So, of course, with our girls, you know, various levels of kicking ability.
And you don't have Mary Parenzo back.
Missed that big leg, right? Meredith Coffey, our this year scrum half, who was missing McFall last year, senior graduated. She's got a very good kick. So essentially, she just needs to learn shoulders to uprights, you know, just like a place kicker needs to learn. She's got a great. It's not even so much the leg; it's the technique. She's very good at dropping and then kicking. So yeah, it's all about what you'll see really great kickers do is they'll bring that ball like 22, 25 yards away so they can have a better angle on the ball. So
Right.
it really, that's why it's so important for the girls to run into the middle and touch that ball.
Well, we kind of figured that, but is it because they don't have the angle that
Yeah.
they don't try, or do they tell
I also noticed.
or
They try every time
Oh, do they?
Yeah,
Well,
you just-
sometimes we just don't see it.
because it,
Oh,
just dribbles
okay.
away. Yeah.
It just dribbles
last
away.
Year,
All right.
Last year, every conversion attempt
Yep.
that I saw was done by the drop kick.
Mhm.
And this year I saw that they were teeing it up.
You do both. Yep.
And you know, and I thought, now wait a minute. I thought they had to
So
do
you
a
get
drop
the
kick.
option of
Kicker's
being able to
choice.
do
Yep.
what you
A
want.
drop kick,
Okay.
ground first, or a tee.
Oh, okay.
Just what the kicker prefers.
Which do your kickers prefer?
I like to have them do the drop kick because the kickoff is the same as the conversion kick, right?
Right,
You're trying to put the
right.
ball in the air in a certain position angle. So I like to let them work just one type of kick, but they are allowed to do both. So, and the other thing with you got to remember the tee.
Right.
So if we have a tee, do we have a tee?
Right.
So yeah, I don't conversion kick points. Those are bonus points to me. I don't really,
Yeah.
if we get in the middle, perfect, sweet. If we make the conversion, even better, right? But I don't rely on those to win the game. So if you
And
get
I've
those,
yet to
bonus.
see a penalty kick attempt.
For 3 points.
Yeah, for
Yeah.
3 points.
And what you'll see, especially when you see Ravenwood come to our stadium on April 17th, you'll see them doing their kicking game a lot. Because Coach Boone has talked to me, and when we were a younger team, he says the only way you beat stronger teams is you kick over their heads and you try to wear them down. And I've already seen him do it to us, and I'm like, this is the strategy, right?
Right.
What you will see, not from us, is trying to kick for 3 points, because we are not a kicking team. We're going to run through you. We're going to run where we want to run because we have the athletes to do that.
Right.
What you'll see Ravenwood, and really a lot of professional teams, and it is more tactical, but we're not there yet, is when you get a penalty to you and you have the ball in the hand, you can kick it. You'll see teams kick it straight out of bounds down the field because, again, you're advancing field position.
No,
and
we've seen that.
Yeah,
We didn't
and it's-
understand that.
Right, and it's your throw-in, right?
Right.
So, again, it's all about possession. Once you get a penalty, if you kick it out of bounds, it
Yeah.
stays your ball. But if you're just an open play and you kick it out of bounds, it's the other team.
And that gets me to you kick it out of bounds, but you get to do the throw in.
Yes, only if it's from a penalty. Something that I struggled with
Ah.
for a long time. Like, why did they get it? I don't know. Here we go. Like, just imagine me yelling at referees questions, just like me Googling to referees in the game. Like, sir, if you could just explain why do we have the ball again? Like, and that was me for 3 years, and then finally it all started clicking.
Oh, you mean like Vance trying to ask how come number 30 got a 15-yard penalty? Oh, never mind.
Yeah.
We're going to come back to rugby here in a second. We got some house cleaning to do here, Dan, real quick.
Sure thing.
You can pick your butt up on Saturday, Boston Butts, for those of you who ordered Boston Butts. Saturday, March 10th, 8 a.m. to 11 a.m. at Lindsey Nelson parking lot, which is where they have the big smoker come Friday night. And they're going to smoke their butts. Of course, you know, the hardest thing about smoking a butt is getting it lit. But anyway, that'll be...
Waiting all night for that.
Thank you very much. So, boom, 8 to 11 a.m., Lindsey Nelson Stadium parking lot. So pick your
Butt up.
Boston, your Boston butt up on Saturday. Columbia and Spring Hill tomorrow night, 6:30, not 5:30 like originally published, but 6:30 tomorrow night. Congrats to the CA boys. They are headed to state. They beat Summertown. I think it was 73-64 last night in their sectional play. They will play Thursday at 11:30. Columbia Academy takes on Loretto. Or for those, 11:30 in the morning.
Tomorrow.
Thursday. Next Thursday.
Yeah, it's a school day.
Yeah, not this Thursday. Next girls is this week.
Oh, wow, okay.
Yeah, this will be next week. Next Thursday at 11:30. So, wonder if Loretto will be out of school.
Well, how do they play so early?
I have no idea. That's just the way they.
All three classifications are
Yeah.
going. So there's 24 teams there.
Yeah.
So they just go all day.
Yeah, it starts on Thursday and Saturday night.
Yeah.
So it's only 3 days to.
I'd love to play at noon.
And be done with it and go on and have dinner.
Yeah.
You know, do all
Finish
the
your
things
classes.
you're going to.
Are they still at Murfreesboro? Is it
Yes.
Okay.
Murphy Center,
Murphy Center?
where I graduated in 1980. Thank you very much. I think
Well,
it's
I like the way they do it. I mean, you know, you buy your ticket for a particular game,
Yep.
and after that game's over with, they clear it out.
Oh, they do.
And
Yeah.
Well, you buy a session.
right,
actually.
right.
So
But
Fight Like Dylan golf tournament.
April 28th, so it's coming up pretty soon. There'll be flyers out everywhere, or you can contact Central High School, get one that way. It should be a big turnout again this year.
$300 per team.
Yes, that's
Isn't that
correct.
right?
team of 4.
Lunch and breakfast provided, and prizes.
Where else can you get that?
That's right. That's a good point.
We offer it on April 28th.
Delivered.
Breakfast.
It is a nice value.
It is. It's a great
4 rounds
value.
of golf plus breakfast and lunch.
Yeah.
Yep.
Dad and I be on food duty.
Yes, we are.
And there'll be a raffle for a 55-inch TV.
Yes. Yes. We'll be selling
Prize.
tickets. Contact Coach Blue or TJ or Heather or me or whoever, and we'll get you hooked up for a raffle on 55-inch TV.
Yep, and in all proceeds.
Much similar to the one you're seeing in the background right now.
Yes.
Just
there
saying.
is.
It's awesome.
Except this is a 1080. This is like a 4K or something like that. I mean, it's pretty neat. One they're
It
going to
is
give
nice.
away. So anyway, make sure you check that out. April 28th at Stony Brook Golf Course, Fight Like Dylan Golf Tournament. Of course, the proceeds go to local charities and also go to two $2,000 scholarships for Central High football players or managers. Or we did a player and a manager last year.
Yes, we
Right.
did.
Yeah. So there you go. What do we expect to see out of Spring Hill tomorrow night? Are we doing a regular game then a JV game?
Correct. Yep.
Okay.
Before I talk about that, I have to say this because True Love sponsors this show.
Mm-hmm.
True Love's sponsored the team this year for the first time. I'm not sure if we had sent anybody because we do like a business fundraiser, much like the football team does,
Yeah.
where we send the girls out to the businesses. But anyway, True Love sponsored us for the first time, and I thought that was awesome. I get an email like 4 days after he sends the check-in, and it says, "Hey, Coach LaFond, you know what? Let's feed these Lady Lions." And he invited the girls to pick several dates and feed the team. We did the first one a couple Sundays ago. And I was like emotional. I was like, man, for this guy
Oh yeah.
to give this team a bunch of money and then to feed this team after we decided each of the home games, phenomenal. So, Mr. True Love, sincerely appreciate what you do for the girls in the school and all the other teams. So, thank you. Anyway, Spring Hill. So, Spring Hill, still a young team. I know that they've got great coaches. Michael Twigg, who started the team back last year, he's like me, no rugby experience. He played some wheelchair rugby, but I know that he's got limited knowledge. And then they've got Josh Furtaw, who actually played rugby and plays rugby in Nashville still. He's a big guy, he's a football coach as well. And then they also have a new coach who plays rugby in Nashville. His name escapes me, but they've got all the right people in place. and it's their second year. They've got a few standout athletes, and like the two players that came with us to Vegas. Natalie Garrett, she's a sophomore, which is great for them. A young player with a lot of skill. She passes the ball really well. She's the scrum half, so she's kind of the quarterback of the whole operation. I look at it whenever we go into play any team. You try to look at it from the other team's perspective. How are they preparing for you? What are they telling to their kids? I mean, they're coming into Lindsey Nelson Stadium, with the two-time conference champion, 54 girls strong, 16 seniors, 12 of which are starters. That's very tough for that team. And what's most important for me is that, number one, like we said, the girls play tactical rugby. They slow it down. They're disciplined. Second, we don't have any silly injuries or silly penalties. And it's truly my goal, Mr. White, our principal, would not like me saying this, but it's truly our goal to have a Spring Hill team who's capable of beating us one day. Because the better they get, the better we get. And the more competition we have, and the stronger both teams become. This year they are still very much a growing team, but they are miles ahead of where we were our second year. I got a Facebook memory of our first year team, and I was like, oh my gosh, I can't believe those 17 girls played rugby. And of those 17 girls, maybe 2 athletes, and one was a mom, for goodness sake. I mean, where Spring Hill is now is like where we were in our 3rd and 4th year. So they're way ahead of us.
But listen to what you're saying, though. 17 girls compared to 54.
Sure. Yeah, 6 years later, right?
Yeah.
And Spring Hill, once they gain traction, and like teenagers, and this is true for teenagers of all time, they want to be part of successful things. And once Spring Hill starts finding that success, I mean, they already, we didn't win a single game our first year, and they've already beaten teams and continue to beat teams. Once they start having success and gaining traction, I mean, they're going to be a great opponent for us. So tomorrow is just another step on that journey, and again to get our players to slow down. But you're going to see a lot of JV girls also in the varsity game from our side. So young team, they're going to come in. I know they'll be physically aggressive, but again, our girls are so we just have brute strength, plain and simple. And I know that they're going to be tough players. And I look forward to playing them. So,
you see the girls in the hallway?
Yep.
Okay, you see them all the time. You pass them in the hallway.
Yep.
Coach passes them in the hallway. What kind of swagger do these girls have? Because they're big and bad. They know that they're big and bad.
What I will say is that last year we bought these gray jumpsuits from Jones and Lang. Holloway jumpsuits. I had never heard of Holloway.
That would be Jones and Lang Sporting Goods.
a 6-year Lady Lions reporter. But anyway, so we bought all these jumpsuits, and people came up to me like, "Your rugby they look so good. Like they seem so confident." And I tell the girls, as soon as you put that jacket on, that rugby jacket, or you wear that rugby shirt, you got a target on your back, plain and simple. And Coach Blue can speak this for football players, but once you become an athlete, especially for a successful team, you are on the radar, not under the radar. You are on the radar, and so I know these girls are extremely proud to be part of this team, but I think that they kind of walk on eggshells a little bit, because every year, beginning of the season, I send out that roster to every teacher, and trust me, those teachers let me know what's going on, from serious infractions to okay, I'll talk to them. Like some of the stuff is kind of silly, almost petty, but you've got 100 different teachers, 100 different personalities, but sometimes there's some issues that have to be dealt with, and they all know that the justice is swift and it's embarrassing, and it takes one time. Basically somebody has to mess up one time at the beginning of the season, and basically what I do is I make everybody do conditioning but that person, and I make them watch, and I say, you made a mistake and the team suffers. It's a stinger, because then it's just shame and it's just guilt, and then it's on all the girls not to shame and guilt her, because when somebody makes a mistake in the game, you don't get down on them. And so it's certainly very psychological. And the experienced players, they know, like, we do not mess around. We do not fool around in class. I've got a 4-year senior that I love who's just a goofball. and and Mr.
Are you
Mr.
going to
White-
name names?
Well, no, I'm not. But Mr. White knows who I'm talking about.
She
because
knows who
because,
she
Yeah,
is.
Mr. White said to me one day, he's like, I don't know how you deal with this girl. And I'm like, I get that, but once you threaten conditioning, why did they change? Why did they change their tune? So, and I tell the girls, there's cameras everywhere. All these teachers, they're watching you.
Oh, yeah.
So, I like, I know they have a lot of confidence and I know they have a lot of pride in the team, but I do know that they kind of walk in eggshells a little bit. And if it gets back to me, there's heck to pay. So, yeah. Anyway.
Yeah, I've learned there's cameras out there too, so I'm watching this nose picking thing as I'm going through Central High School. So it's so you don't get caught on camera for that.
Coach, you have
because it will come up.
You have any of my rugby girls in your class?
I have Serena.
I was
Serena?
getting ready to ask.
And how is she?
She does really well.
Solid, one of our Vegas girls.
Yeah.
I mean, I know nothing but love of Serena White. She's
I've had Adriana too. She's last year.
Rock solid girl.
Yes, she is.
Serena White is my size, but she plays like she's 6'4".
Yeah.
Just rock solid player. Yeah, love her to death. Tomorrow, next year is gonna be hard for me. May 13th, that would be the day after the state championship, which in my mind, that's the last day of our season.
Right.
It's gonna be very difficult for me because these 4-year seniors we've been here 6 years, but these 4-year seniors, and I said it last year, are the hardest working group of girls I have ever seen, the hardest working group of athletes I've ever seen. They have earned every single thing they've gotten. Our first set of 4-year seniors were very important to our team, but they weren't rugby players right until the end. And these girls came in young, knew they had to work hard, and have been at the core of our success. And so, I look at this senior roster and I think to myself, next year will be a rebuilding year for us. We have a lot of talented sophomores and juniors, but these seniors are leaving some serious steps and shoes to fill. So we'll see. I think next year will be the true.
Yeah, but I love at the banquet to watch you break up.
Well, I do.
I do.
Yeah.
I love to watch you.
I lose it. I'm so emotionally invested in these kids because they work so hard.
Yeah.
Because they earned it. I don't. When I fell out of love with football, that's what it came down to. You had these kids who think that their stuff didn't stink, and they weren't invested, so I wasn't invested. But these girls, they look at you and they work hard and they make mistakes and they get better, and so I lose at the banquet because I lose a set of them. And
he does. It's just. I mean, it's not handkerchief time. It's towel time. I mean,
it was after I had a son, right? I had my own child, and I just became this.
He did. He became this blubbering daddy up there. I mean,
Yeah.
it was incredible.
Yep. So anyway, and that's how they know that what I say,
Yeah.
I mean, and when I'm hard on them, they know that I'm doing it because I want to make them better.
But the way cool thing he does with the banquet, he puts everybody in tables in a semicircle around the podium, which is pretty cool because all the girls, you can't do that this year. You got so many girls. It may be two lines.
We'll see.
Two lines deep.
Yeah.
But it's a semicircle, and then he talks about the ones that have performed at a great high level, and it's pretty cool to watch how he does that. And I'm like, why does he do that? And then I got to understand he's able to see every single one of them at the same time.
Right.
Yep.
He talks to them. He doesn't speak at them. He talks to them, which is way cool in that banquet. I was really impressed by that.
I invited Eddie, didn't I?
Yes, yes, you did.
Yeah. Were you
Yeah,
there?
he couldn't make it.
I couldn't make it.
Hopefully
last
this year. Yeah, they're fun. They're a lot of fun, and that's the thing. They really see me for the first time.
Right.
If you watch, when I go out, when I put the first 15 out there, varsity, I say the same thing to them every single time. You are the best 15 players on this team, and I'm proud of you. And I'm like, there, right? You will see me back up to our sideline because I don't want the rest of the team to see me emotional because I don't want them to see me opened up.
Yep.
Because I need time to close back up and get tough and get hard and get, okay, here we go, we're down to business. So I show those 15 girls just a little bit that I love them and that I respect what they do. And then I literally back up. I backpedal to the sideline so nobody sees me.
I think we need a wireless mic.
Well, yeah, surely. You're going to be up there and you go, oh, there he is, he's backing up. And it's just, you get so overwhelmed because these 15 girls, that's all they want. All they wanted was to be the first 15 and to get that spot. I showed a girl, I put a first 15 out there for the Jamboree, and one name changed. And I brought the girl in who earned it. And I said, you see this? You earned that. You get to keep it. or lose it. That's up to you. And so one girl now has to be taken off, and that's going to be a huge hit for her. And I know that, but she knows she has to get better for whatever reasons. She would talk to me. Yeah. And so that's how they know that I'm serious, that I open up as much as I have to, and then the rest of the time it's you're not good enough, do better. Just the standard coach stuff where you break them down and tell them that they're worthless, all that kind of stuff. So maybe not worthless, but
there is something else I'd like to know.
Yeah.
What's your chant that you do before each match?
Like what are the words?
Yeah.
Right. So when we the first couple years, we had this stupid chant. It was so dumb. And then we would go around, and you'd see all the different team chants, right? Some it kind of sounds like a haka, like New Zealand, Yeah. And I would just hear these rip-offs, like, oh, this sounds like, I've heard like football ones, and you go like the team is doing your chant, like, oh, that's our copy chant from UT or whatever it was. So I wrote this chant as a call and response for these girls. That wasn't like anything that I heard, but it goes, I'm a Columbia Central Lioness. I am the killer. I feed the pride. And of course, that gets back to the ethos of the lioness being the hunter of their pack, right? Right. The male lions protect the home, and they protect the cubs, and the female lions are the hunters. So I'm like, okay, how am I going to work this in? So I'm a Columbia Central. I am the killer. I feed the pride. I slowly stalk my prey. I do not stalk alone. I am the killer. I feed the pride. I attack my enemies with family at my side. I am the killer. I feed the pride. This is family. We are Central. And the girls say like the last words or last two words of each of those. So basically just the concept of like, we're out here to hunt. We do it together. We do it slowly, meaning we plan, we attack together, and it's us or nobody. It's family or nothing. And yeah, I love it. I'm not humble about that chant. That chant is awesome, and those girls get so
and that
hyped.
Chant is yours, buddy.
Ours. It's ours, right? It's all ours. Yeah, it's ours. But
Did
man,
you get it trademarked?
not yet. Yeah.
Well, you do as of right now.
I
You
know.
just put it out there.
I know that I have.
Yeah, copyright it.
Yeah, I have never heard that chant from outside that circle, right? And I would hate to. I would hate to be that team to hear the rumble of 55 people chanting that 50 yards away from me, and then I got to go and face those girls. So,
but I can say this with all honesty, and I don't just say that since you're sitting here, but if anybody who watches this program or anybody who listens to this program has not seen the Columbia Lady Lions rugby team play or seen ladies play at all, get your butt out to Lindsey Nelson Stadium tomorrow night, 6:30. You're going to be not only entertained, but you're going to enjoy. You're going to be amazed. I mean, really, because these girls are so physical, and we've had people stand up in a press box with us going, "Oh, God, I can't believe she hit her." Yeah. But that's what it's all about, and they cannot believe. They can't believe that this girl is not getting hurt. I said it's all in technique and how you tackle somebody, and you learn how to do that. And we're having to explain the game to them as they're standing up there going, "Oh my God, I can't believe she just got hit. She's just stiff-armed her." That's part of the game.
If you've never seen them play, it will redefine how you look at women's athletics, and because that's what it did for me. I never ever thought I'd coach a girls' sport. And then even that first year with those girls who had no business playing rugby. And even though they had no business playing rugby and me, no business coaching it, having no knowledge, right? But for them to go out there and to take the hits and give the hits, I mean, completely redefined, for me, classic misogynist football player, boy, girls' sports aren't as fun or exciting. Completely, reprogrammed me. So, I appreciate that.
Sure, not a problem, man. I mean, and to watch the passion that you have for these girls and the passion that you have for this game is an incredible thing to watch. And it's an honor for us to be sitting up there doing this. I mean,
it's a great game.
It's fun.
We are truly at the ground floor.
Yeah.
Because
we got a chance to see the other night two of the best men's teams.
Yeah.
With
Raven
the Harlequins
Hartford.
and the Raptors the other night.
Ground floor. I mean, this sport is growing. You know, there's something called rookie rugby, which we're going to be doing this year. Rookie rugby is first through 8th graders, and it's basically every week for
That'd be us, Eddie.
Yeah. Every week, once a night, every week, and it'll be like an hour or 2 hours.
We'll be in that wheelchair division.
But every week in April, in the first 2 weeks of May, we're going to have rookie rugby, and it's going to be clinics for younger kids.
Cool.
And so we are looking to start those youth leagues, and just like youth soccer, how it's so big in Pop Warner. and it's gonna explode. Absolutely. And
But
we're
you know
excited.
you're going to have to be the one that explains to all these coaches
Right.
that come in.
And it's really going to be parents. You know,
Exactly.
these parents are going to go, wow, like this is a cool little sport. And, you know, my daughter, I guess she likes basketball or softball, but not really. I mean, you know, Tatiana Harlan, one of our seniors who's an absolute rock star, she went to Vegas, only a second-year player. You know, she played softball her whole life because she's a big girl, so they gave her a bat, right? She wasn't super tall, so they didn't let her play basketball or whatever, and she just kind of played softball. And then, you know, all of her buddies played rugby, and she was like, I really think I should try this game. I'm like, you need to try this game. Like, you, of all people, should be playing it. So I really don't, you know, I'm not a big fan of like poaching players, right? So like softball, track, I guess, but even, you know, that's not really. But like softball, probably my only place I poach from. I'm really not comfortable.
and you know
talking-
the Creech is really loving you right now.
Well,
Just saying.
Kevin's my guy. Kevin and I, yeah. But here's the thing: softball is a super skill-based sport. I
Yeah.
would hope that Kevin Creech looks at a freshman who can't hit or throw,
Yeah.
who's played for 5 years and just maybe won't get it. I hope that he looks at him and go, "Man, I want to try rugby." One of the former basketball coaches said about Tatiana Harlan, you should tell Tatiana not to play basketball and to focus on rugby because she's not good at basketball. And so I said to her that last year, hey, listen, I don't know how much you like basketball, but maybe you want to focus on rugby because I think you could be amazing. And she was, and she stopped. And, you know.
But you didn't say that one extra
Right.
line.
But yeah, exactly. So, you know, we work together with soccer. Greg Sadlowski is the women's soccer coach, and
Yeah.
he and I are very much like
Nah, I don't buy what Sid says.
we very much are each other's recruiting pools.
Yeah.
So I love that when my girl plays soccer in the fall, and he loves, you know, sending rugby girls in the spring. So. So that's cool. So that's a great relationship. And
I never thought though that Sid would go from basketball into the realm of soccer with those girls.
Well, he did 3 sports this year.
I know.
I don't know what's
yeah.
wrong with him.
I don't either.
Like up here,
I have no idea.
Like he has something wrong with him.
He
3
does.
sports. I mean, he's super coach, right? I mean,
Yeah.
he's like he
Yeah.
can't say no, right? The guy, he gives and he gives. Anyway, so
We are going to be losing for a few weeks our co-host Vance Ballou because he's going to go do those athletic director duties with baseball and softball,
Right.
and that'll be on Tuesday nights.
he doesn't have rugby.
He doesn't have rugby.
Yeah.
No, but softball will be at home on Monday, opening day. And
Oh,
then
okay.
Baseball will be away, but they'll be back home on Tuesday
Right.
of opening day. But you're right, there'll be 6 or 7 weeks of.
As you're watching softball, just keep an eye
I'll
on
do
those big
that.
girls. You know? Sorry, Creech.
The big girls that strike out.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
I want those big
Put a
girls who
plug
can't
in,
hit.
Coach.
I want those big girls who can't hit. That's what I'm all about.
There you go.
But Coach has some athletic director duties, and then we got a lot of stuff coming up.
Yeah, there'll be a lot. I think by Monday, all the spring sports will be going.
In swing.
I'm
Wow.
not saying that they play Monday, but everybody will play on Monday or has already played. Because I know y'all are not really spring, but
Right.
y'all are going Wednesday. Somebody's going
yeah.
Thursday.
Sid Sadlowski.
Oh,
Soccer.
that's right.
Boys soccer is
Yep,
Thursday.
yep.
Yeah.
So it'll be full force.
Well, we're going to
A lot
miss you.
going on.
You know that.
Well, I appreciate that,
Yeah.
and I'll probably make an appearance or two over that.
Cool.
7
Well, you know
weeks.
you're always welcome. I mean,
we'll
that's
see.
you know
guys
you
had Dre
are.
Hall on the show.
We
last
did.
week.
Yeah.
Is he going to try out for professional?
Yes. His pro day
is Thursday.
Thursday.
That's awesome. Cool.
And so
DeMontre Wade was at
the combine.
the combine.
Yeah. And DeMontre is going to go down and help support
Dre.
Cool.
You know,
Yeah.
on
Awesome.
his
He's from Columbia, but played at Brentwood.
Yeah, I didn't know
Academy.
the name
Yeah.
of Montre, but I'll
Yeah.
nod my head anyway.
Yeah.
And played at Murray State.
Oh, okay, great.
What I saw of his combine, he had a good showing.
Yeah.
I didn't see all of it, but
he's got some good hands.
he does. Yep.
Yeah.
What about the guy that ran the 4.38?
Oh, that was
Oh,
really
that
impressive.
linebacker with the one hand.
I think what
Yeah.
bothers me about that though is you're running the 4.38. That's fine, but you can't do that in.
Pads and
Thank you.
right. Yeah.
Yeah, you need to pad these guys up, and then let's see what you can run.
Right.
Right.
Yeah.
Because you ain't running out there naked on game day.
Watch the kid play. He can play.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's a player.
Who's he
Yeah.
Central Florida.
Oh, okay.
Yep.
Oh, the
Yeah.
one hand.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes.
I talk about
Yes.
him. I refer to him in class.
Yeah.
It's a physical characteristic anyway. But yeah, it's really fascinating. And you got to think like, here's this guy with one hand, and
Well,
who's his backup, right? Who
And he's a twin.
Yeah, his
Wow.
twin plays for Seattle.
Yeah.
he has both hands.
Yes.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, didn't Ravenwood have a girl on their team last year that only had one hand?
At the elbow. Yeah.
Yeah.
She was a great little
She
player.
was a
I mean,
great player.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. And it's just so, gosh, you just think, you would think, well, you can't play sports. And these people are like, no, I can. And that's
Yeah.
awesome. I love that. That's
Well, we had a guy, Buddy Stoops.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah.
He only had one arm. Well, he lost the other one in a wringer washing machine. But, he played baseball with one arm.
wow. Yeah.
And he could be out in the outfield. He'd catch the ball, flip it up in the air, and throw the glove off. He'd catch the ball and throw it in to where he needed to throw it.
Yeah.
And then he'd get plate, swing it back one-handed, and hit it with power too.
Wow.
I mean,
His daughter is Kelly Stoops, and that is on the team. I cannot think of the child's name right now. It's on the football team.
I know the name Stoops, but I can't think of the first name either. I know what you're talking about.
Oh gosh, I didn't. Maximus Ward.
Oh, yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, that's Maximus Ward's mom.
Oh, I was like, Kelly, that sounds really familiar.
Yeah.
I coached
Yeah.
Maximus last year. So good kid.
Yeah, he is a good kid.
Goofy kid, but great.
Oh, yeah.
But a good kid. I had him in English class as well.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah,
We
but a
just-
good, but a good kid.
When he pitched, we just switched gloves.
Yeah. That was amazing right there. With another player that came up.
Yeah, we had a guy who played with David Grooms.
Yeah,
He'd start out
ambidextrous.
pitching right-handed.
And the coach called timeout, so they're going to have pitching change. And umpire said, "Who you putting in?" He said, "No."
We
He
just
just
changing
changing gloves.
Wow.
He turned around, and pitch the other way. So
Wow.
All right. Another thing, if somebody comes out tomorrow night,
Yep.
they're going to see some players who wear a little leather cap.
Scrum cap. It's not leather, it's like pads.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
But what's it for?
The scrum cap is interesting because it doesn't really protect the head.
Mm-hmm.
It's
Protects the ears,
It more
though.
protects the ears.
Right.
Yeah. So if you have have gotten hit in the ear and it's like sensitive or whatever,
Or if you have ears that look like cab
and they
doors.
stick out, right? It'll pin your ears back. So our girls have worn them. Some teams you see like 6 or 7 girls wear them.
Yeah.
I mean, it's it's not a helmet, right? And they don't play like it's a helmet. And I just think that it just gets in the way, quite honestly. So our girls, we don't use them. And plus, our girls, some of them have so much hair, So scrum caps. Sometimes you see them wear them, but scrum caps are all right, I guess.
All right, here's another question. When they're in the scrum, or they're beginning the scrum,
Yeah.
what is it when a referee calls it off and then re-establishes the scrum? What's going on with that?
So the scrum, right? All the players come together.
Yes.
What it can't do is it can't turn. Okay, it's called wheeling, right? They can't
Right.
turn the scrum, right? They also can only go one way or the other, 1.5 meters or a yard and a
okay.
half. So if they go 2 yards, they got to restart it. The players who are trying to hook the ball, they're called hookers, right? That's easy. When you have young women, of course, it's like, what do you play? I play hooker. Wait, what do you mean? Every single year, right? Is
that legal?
So, yeah. And we were in Nevada, so it was. But anyway, so I've had it the whole time.
He's been waiting to play that one.
Yeah. So what he will also call is the hookers cannot lift their legs to pull the ball back until the ball is on the ground.
Right.
So sometimes, like as the scrum half throws it in, they'll try to lift their leg up, and so they'll call them for that. So there's several reasons why a scrum might end like that. And if a team keeps messing up, they'll just give the other team the ball. So that's why a scrum might
Kind of
restart.
like hockey. Sometimes you see them when they
Oh,
get
yeah.
ready for a face-off, and then
Yeah.
all of a sudden the official throws one out.
Right.
Brings
And
another
you're
player
going,
over.
what did you do? Yeah.
For those who may be viewing right now and you hear a fire alarm going off in the background and you hear the Bismarck dog barking, don't worry about it. He's barking because the fire alarm is going off, but the house is not on fire. That's just pizza.
I just thought my ears was ringing. I didn't know.
and he's still barking, and the alarm is still going off. So not a big thing. We'll be fine.
You hope.
Well, we'll see.
We don't have tie tonight, so
The kitchen is behind this wall behind us anyway, so where the pizzas have been cooking.
Flames come through this wall,
then we will be signing off and ending the stream right then. So, but anyway, 6:30 tomorrow night. Spring Hill comes into town. Let's see, why do we play the varsity first and then the JV?
I don't know why we do that. This is actually the first year we're doing that.
Yeah.
I think that what happened last year was all the coaches were always like, hey, do you want to do a little match with JV? Especially as we got so many girls, and even some teams who have 27 to, Spring Hill's got 27 girls, which is phenomenal. You need 15 to play, so we've almost got 2 full teams. So I think that as our rosters all got bigger, the coaches decided, hey, let's just have an official JV match, and the referees are on board, and everybody knows. So I don't know why the JV doesn't play first, but I would suspect that a lot of the teams, a lot of their varsity players will play on JV. Okay. So you want to get that first match, that district match out of the way first, and then have a little scrimmage afterwards.
Okay, just for our knowledge in the press box, are we playing 30-minute halves?
30-minute halves.
Okay.
Running clock.
Right.
Yep. Referee, as you know, as we did last year.
Leave the horn off.
Yeah, leave the horn off. And here's the thing: the horn's fine, right? But it doesn't mean anything.
Doesn't mean
referee.
anything.
Exactly.
Yeah, but
if we left it off,
and if we get above 30 points, and I'm not to say anything about that.
And something else that's interesting about the clock and about rugby is that. Even when the referee's time is out, play doesn't stop.
Right.
Until he blows the whistle.
Play only stops until possession changes. So, for example, if you need to score and time runs out, you have that opportunity as long as you have the ball.
Now, here's the biggest gripe that I have about scoring.
Okay.
These guys are not signaling us when it's scoring.
Right.
We need to know because
it's a single whistle straight in the air.
But we didn't get that the other night on one of them.
Sometimes he'll blow his whistle and have his hand up in the air down near –
and then we're putting up points on the board, and
we'll say the try was good, and then next thing we know, we're in a scrum.
Right.
Yeah.
So, and again, things that I've learned, right?
Yeah.
But a straight arm from the body signals advantage, meaning that a penalty has happened, and he's going to let play happen until the team who doesn't have advantage gets the ball. Then he'll stop play. This is a penalty. He's going to stop play, and he's going to give this team the ball because the other team made a mistake and they got to get back 10 meters, and you'll hear us screaming, back 10, get back 10 meters. And then this is a try, straight in the air, single whistle blow.
Oh, okay.
So, and here's the thing. Rugby whistles are kind of quiet. They're not that
They're not
piercing.
real loud.
Yeah. They're a lot more, I don't know, like a very subtle, lower tone. So they are difficult to hear. So I get that.
And then tomorrow night we will have the...
And then on the conversion kick, a lot of times, the guys signaling with the flag a lot of times don't signal.
Yeah, right. Exactly. Yeah.
And we're going, was it good or was it not
and you'll
good?
see me, especially on a try, you'll see me like, if there's a try, I'll immediately turn around and put my hands up, right? Like just like this, because that means you scored.
Okay.
Yeah.
We'll watch you.
Yeah, and you'll see, here's the thing. Here's Coach LaFond. Did we score? This is I'm watching the referee. I'm doing this shake and this arms out, and then if I see the score, I'll hands up and I'll walk back to the sideline. So anyway.
Okay.
Yeah.
Very good.
Now we know what to look for. LaFond's
We're
touchdown.
we're still learning.
Yeah.
And it's a fun game to watch.
It's the best.
So check it out tomorrow night, 6:30 at Lindsey Nelson Stadium. We'll be there. Spring Hill comes to town.
Yes, sir.
It'll be fun. Then they had the varsity first, then we play the JV after that.
Yep.
So
Was that a door slamming or did she fall out?
well, the good thing about it is I don't hear any sirens. So
You're in good shape.
that's a good thing. Anyway,
The bad part is in rolling fields, they have trouble finding your house.
oh boy, that's
Those drive in circle.
that's
Yeah.
that's true.
Yeah.
That
They
is
drive
true.
around till they see the smoke.
Yeah.
That's not a good thing. Any guys, you got anything you want to wrap up with?
Just 4 opportunities for people to come out in a row. Rugby tomorrow night, soccer Thursday night, both in the football stadium, Lindsey Nelson Stadium. Then Monday night, girls softball, and Tuesday night, baseball up on the hill.
Very good. So for everybody on the show, which would be Eddie Bobo and Chet Matlock and Vince Ballou and Dan LaFond, both of those coaches, the 3 of us not. I'm Dan. What? Yeah, thank you. I'm Dan James. Have a nice evening.